Thank you again, Fangs, for joining me on this one. I've done about two or three videos talking about BSA in water. So maybe if you want to look at pursuing master somewhere else, all right. I also want to use this opportunity to also talk about another country that I promised I'll be discussing in the previous video. Okay. Now, welcome back. Thank you for those of you that have always been my old time G. The support has been massive. We are going. Thank you guys for standing by me. If you're just joining us, this is J.O.S. Travel Abroad, and I do share content about the beauties of traveling abroad through study and the benefits. Of course, this is what I'm focusing on particularly. And at the same time, you can click and subscribe because there are opportunity for you to watch some of my content that will be useful. Now, I thank God I've been getting people meeting me on the way and say, "Oh, your information were helpful." While I was searching out for one or two things, so these are the essence of why some of us just come out to talk from our own personal experience and experience relating to people that are close to us. Okay, I just did not want to make it too much, but the intro. Let's just dive right into what I'm about to discuss on this particular video. Now, if you've been following me, I will try to put the link of either one or two of the videos there. I'm only trying to encourage those people, those of you or those of us, those of you that have been coming to Malta for an undergraduate program, that there's a beauty behind what you're coming to do. The struggle might look like, oh yeah, it's hard, kind of 3 years. No. So the beauties of it is what I want to tell you, that be patient. Now, do you know that there are things you might be struggling to get all the way from your home country, like you want to get into some countries. Now, maybe you know how it is, Sha, because you're coming from some African country, TC in West Africa, it might be a bit difficult. So Malta is a lovely place. They give you an open arms, they welcome you in, and you're able to get into Malta for a BSc program now. Because of that, Malta being in the center, it can now propel, open you up to that many options of those places you were struggling in the first place to get. This is why I now feel like, okay, let's do a series about what if you finished a BSc here and then that place you think has been hard, where probably there are language countries, and most of the language country always and often allow the undergraduate program to be done or taught in the language of the country because they have to respect the rights of the citizens, okay? Then, but they now know that if their citizens have been able to study, get acquire skills, they will be too, they'll be more and more knowledgeable, conversant with that skills because they did it with grassroots instructions, knowledge. Now, if they want to go for masters, masters are always optional. So masters could be something they will put on an international standard that it will be taught in maybe globally recognized language. That is why most of those countries often do what? They allow master's programs to be taught mostly in English. Now, this is also an avenue for their citizens to now, grow. They are upscaling themselves by growing in the knowledge and then also trying to divert to a globally sought after skills for them to grow, and whatever skills they have that they've put into practice locally, they may want to be interested to travel around the world. So they should be familiar with the global content, the global language, and the global culture. This is why at least it's also an avenue to now open the citizens to global, environment. This is why most masters are done there. So if you are coming from a country where English is official language, where or English has been your mode of instructions, and you feel maybe you are not getting the desired undergraduate programs and done in English, the language you're familiar with, and you might be struggling at first to integrate. So they choose to go to countries where English is one of the official language, and most of the programs, all the programs are done or taught in English. This is where Malta comes to play an important part, an integral in that your mission or vision or project or plan. Okay, so now this is why I say, okay, for coming to Malta to do your undergraduate business, because Malta will give you very many options to do the undergraduate program. What do you now do once you're done with the undergraduate? That place you were looking at before probably is you love the place, and you feel you want to go do masters in the place. Malta now has become very, very useful, and they've helped you a lot. They've really helped you a lot. You've gotten the BSc done in the same language you're familiar with. So what do you now choose? This is why the series came up with BSs in Malta, then shoot, pull, navigate, journey through, voyage to another country. BSc in Malta, we did that of Ireland, BSc in Malta, we did that of Switzerland, BSc in Malta to Switzerland, I did BSc in Malta to Sweden, which of course Sweden wouldn't have been a challenging one, regardless of where you're coming from, because they have options as well for undergraduate program done and taught in English. Okay, so what am I now saying? I will decide to look at another country, one beautiful country as well. BSA in Malta to the Netherlands. Yes, to the Netherlands. Now, the thing also about the Netherlands is that Netherlands actually allowed you to also do some programs done and taught in English for an undergraduate in an undergraduate level. Yes, Netherlands. I think I wouldn't say for now. Quote me if you know if you think that's not true. Put that in the comment section. Netherlands. I would say I probably would say almost all their programs too. You can find so many programs that are taught and done in English, both in undergraduate and BSc level. English is widely spoken in Netherlands. In the Netherlands, it's one of the countries in the language country in Europe where English is widely spoken. I love that about the country. So regardless that it is not official, but you will not find things difficult when you're going to finding people that speaks and understand English. But now, the thing about why I decided to say Malta, BS in Malta to that in the Netherlands is that it might look quite expensive going for the BSc program in the Netherlands straight up because they have a very strict, very lovely rules. That rules had helped a lot of international students. It makes your visa process and application easier, faster, and almost guaranteed. 95% to 100% guarantee. The thing is that the school don't want to hear long story. They don't want to hear the government is doubting your efficiency, your financial proof, the presentations of your financial documents, whether they're authentic or not. That's maybe the government is trying to suspect a foul play. The schools don't want to hear that. So I think it has been an ongoing agreement between the schools and the government. The schools facilitate the whole process for you, and therefore they would always ask you to send your fund. Most of those from the West African country don't see it as kind of bias or not that. They know that they struggle with most applicants or international students from those African countries, the challenges of being able to really prove your worth. So the school would encourage you would have to open a block account. They give you an account, you send your proof of fund down to the place, and then you pay whatever the school asks you to pay, the tuition fee for almost the whole year and the deposit, and then you go straight. So now most of the undergraduate program in the Netherlands are kind of a little expensive compared to that of Malta. So you might be seeing from 12, 13, 14 to 16,000 euro for undergraduate program. Meanwhile, you can find something from 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 euro in Malta for undergraduate. So you see, now you know Malta also now give you the opportunity to do like minimum 15 to 20 hours per week. So once you're able to get into Malta to do your undergraduate program because it's cost effective, you are now be able to save. You have spare. Remember my policy. If you've been watching, if you watch the other series, you understand. The first year you take care of it before you get into Malta. Your first year take care of your second year. Your second year take care of your third year. Your third year take care of your third year becomes savings. Of course, you can definitely save third year fees if your tuition fees between 3 to 5,000 euro on the graduate you should be able to take care of it. If you want to know that, we will do separate. I think I did a video about that. I will do a separate video talking about how do you pay your fee as an international student. So if you now have that spare as the thought, what happens is you start your process for four from the Netherlands. Maybe you're able to have like seven, eight to nine, or even 10,000 in addition to that spare, maybe like 5K. So if you have up to 18,000 euro to 21,000 euro, you should be good to go to get into the Netherlands using that their means that guarantee you 95% to 100% visa approval rate because There are postgraduate programs that you can actually start from. Maybe you choose to go through the postgraduate pathway that would be like 9,000 euro. And then they tell you to pay the living expenses, which is almost 21,000 euro. There are some that might ask you to pay some certain amount as part of that your tuition deposit with the living expenses, which is around like 18 to 19,000 euro. That's what I mentioned. But give or take, you can finish your BLC in Malta, work for extra 1 year, you have some good savings, you're already having close to 13, 14,000 euro or so. Then the following year, which is going to be the fifth year, you put in an application for the first section for a master's in the Netherlands. I know of one particular school where the master's MBA program is 18,000 euro for 2 years. I think it's about 18 months. They put it 18 months to 24 months. Let's just say 2 years. Now, when you want to pay that tuition fee, the school will tell you to pay 11,000 euro, which is you pay your first year of 9,000 euro. Then they will tell you the insurance they pay, the accommodation deposit, and whatever money they will calculate. You're expected to deposit about 11,000 euro. The first year tuition fees and all this is what they will ask for. 11,000 euro. Now, plus the living expenses. I think the school says the living expenses you have to show for that one is about 14,000. So with 25,000 euro, you are already good to go. And the beauties of that of the Netherlands is that it is so guaranteed. If you can afford that money and pay it, it is so guaranteed that I can tell you 100% you will get that visa. So does that mean you cannot make 25,000 euro if a very prudent person, if you know where you are going, you are struggling, you know what you are aiming at, you can actually save that on the second year, just like the one where I did about the Switzerland. You can actually save that on the second year after your graduation. You have a spare of this. Do you know it's possible to actually save between 9 to 10,000 euro every year as a full-time worker in Malta? Of course, it is possible. If you're earning between 1,002 or thereabout, and you're doing bed space, I think I will do how to survive in Malta. I'll do videos about that. You know what you are going through, you know what you are going for, and you know why you are here. So who said doing bed space of 250 euro is a big deal? Who said wait it concern you and person? It's your life. Now you know what you're going to achieve after. Then food is not that expensive. 100 euro, you're already good with food. Whereas the transportation is free. So except if you're not like, okay, for the meantime, or you are doing 300 to 400, and you are earning between 1,200, 1,200 and also. So who says you can save from 9,000 to 10,000 euro in a year? It's possible. 800 savings in a month. It's about 9,600 in a year, which is about 10,000 euro in a year. So who say you can save 10,000 euro in a year? You did that for the first year. The second year, you were like saving it up with what you have already. You're already having close to 20 something thousand, 23 to 24,000. So if you want to go for the program of MBA 25,000, say you can't do that. Then, okay, if you now choose to do the one of, you go with a postgraduate program first in the Netherlands of 9,000, and that one I think allows 12,000 euro or so living expenses, which is 21,000. Who say you can't make it up? Just let the school give you the document, you pay the money to the account provided by the schools, and you start the whole of your process. You're already guaranteed. You move in for your postgraduate program, your master's. You can achieve it that way. So nobody say it's not about. That's the thing I love about the Netherlands. The beauty is that one, the Netherlands allow you to go with dependent. You can go with your family to the Netherlands, and beauties of it is well, second part is that your visa process as a study, the study route to the Netherlands is almost guaranteed. It is almost guaranteed. Once you do the right thing, you are already sure 95% to 100% you will get your approval. Now, thank God, consider the fact that you're already even in Europe, where you have that liberty to visit the school in person and do a physical application process, do everything. That's with the school. There might be every tendency for you not to even apply. You definitely not be needing a visa to enter the country. You are definitely going to apply for your residency as a student in that country. So you should know for sure that you're already guaranteed because you are not applying for a Schengen visa to enter first. You are applying for your resident permit. Since what you have here allow you 3 months in a 6 month rule in any of the Schengen countries. So you have within the 6 months to submit the application for the residency of the Netherlands and continue. That is that about it. The Netherlands is beautiful. It is just quite a bit expensive on the other end if you're looking at considering the financial involvement. But the beauty is you will not, you will not or you do not regret the reason why you actually choose the Netherlands. I have the reason why I said because I actually been able to do a little research about the Netherlands. You will not regret the decision. The reason being that among the EU country, is it like I'm hyping the Netherlands too much? The beauty of Netherlands is that it is the third highest minimum wage in Europe. I'm not putting this. Switzerland is EEA. It's not part of the Europe generally, but it's part of the Schengen Agreement. But for the Europe in general, third highest minimum wage after Luxembourg, Republic of Ireland, the Netherlands is the third, followed by Germany. Okay, do your research and do your findings. So if the minimum wage in the Netherlands is almost around 2000 to 2001 as a minimum wage. Now, you that is going for a professional course, you're a graduate, do you expect not to earn more than the minimum wage? Of course. They even have the structure in the way that those who did masters and BSc, there is this salary structure. They kind of have separate salaries. So the masters people definitely earn higher than those who did a BSc. So definitely, if you're doing research, you should know since you're finishing masters. I think Germany also has that similar systems, like a masters and a BSc. There's this salary structure that they get that's quite look different from one to the other. All right, so you will not regret making that decision. It's just how prudent, how dedicated, how committed, how prepared you are to pursue that. If it's part of, if that's your mission, if it's one of your agenda, if it's one of your vision, you just have to be, strategic. I love that word strategic, actually. You don't have to be strategic about going for that. That is that for how to use your BSc here in Malta, try to save for 2 years and navigate into the Netherlands afterward on the fifth year, joining the first section. I'm telling you, you can. I know the reason why I'm telling you can. Should I know practical knowledge of people that I'm telling you can. All right. Maybe I will do how to survive in Malta and I will do how to pay your pay your tuition fee as an international student in case you're coming for a BSc in Malta. Probably I will do separate videos about that later. But until then, let me say a big thank you for watching up to this extent. And I want to say kindly subscribe, share, and like. You don't know if the information might seem not to be useful to you. You don't know who will really be in need of it, so that those that really want to, people not tweeting out of it, can really find this information by you sharing them to them. And in case I post a new video, which might be something you would want, you will be notified by clicking on the notification bell. Thank you until we meet again in my next video. Until the next video, I say bye for now and ciao.